Well, good morning, everybody. So we're reading through 1 Samuel 28 to 31 and Psalm 18, I think. Um, the Lord is faithful, and quite often we are not. He is faithful all the time. It doesn't require our faithfulness in order for him to be faithful. And John turned around and said, anyone who says that they are without sin is a liar. And there's a difference between being under condemnation from sin and sinning. So the condemnation has been removed. But the fact is that we still have periods of failure. We don't want to, we don't plan on it. Peter never planned on denying the Lord. But there are times that we're tripped up, we fail. And there's a plethora of reasons for it. But the thing is, what do you do? What do you do with that? Well, what the Father requires of us is honesty, to be able to turn to Him and say, Dad, I blew it. I was wrong. I was wrong when I did this, and I'm sorry for it. And it's really my heart intent not to be there, not to do that again. And the Spirit changes us. The Spirit convicts us. The Spirit leads us and teaches us and helps us and transforms us. And we are capable. We are capable of not sinning. We are capable because of the transformation, because of the Holy Spirit, because of what Jesus Christ has done for us. And our failure is when we rely upon the flesh instead of upon the relationship. We are empowered by the Holy Spirit. But when we fail, we have to be honest about it and turn to the Lord and confess it. And when we don't, then we're in for a whole bunch of hurt because of the natural consequences of not being honest with that, of not turning to Him. And what ends up happening is we turn to other things, other sources, and try to deal it in other ways. And there's only one way to deal with our failures. And any other solution is an imperfect solution, and it's going to cause complications and other problems. We see this with Saul. Saul was constantly blowing it. But I wonder what would have happened if at that time when he made the sacrifice, he had actually dropped on his face and confessed to the Lord and repented wholeheartedly. I wonder what would have happened at that stage. When he failed to destroy everything in that city, in that kingdom that he was supposed to destroy, what would have happened if he had fallen on his face and confessed his complete failure, complete and utter failure, and cried out for mercy from the Lord? I wonder what would have happened at that stage, because we have so many cases where the Lord has resisted for the purpose of people drawing in, coming in closer, and coming in closer to have that intimacy. And we see here that Saul, the Lord's not speaking to him, not through the prophets, not through their usual ways of communication. He's just resisting Saul. And we can look at it as in the Lord was just, that's it. He's cut off, no more. I've had it. I wash my hands of him. But that doesn't sound like my Redeemer. It doesn't sound like the one who redeems and uses everything for a benefit. It doesn't sound like my dad. And when we go on and we read and we learn more about our Father and His heart, I'm just wondering here, what would have happened if Saul had just did what so many others had done, and just sat in sackcloth and ashes and called out and repented and humbled himself before the Lord. But we'll never know, because he turned to witchcraft. He turned to areas that were forbidden, that he wasn't allowed to. He just made it even worse. In fact, his solution was worse than all the other offenses that he had committed. And this is what happens when we get stubborn and we refuse to respond in the way that we're supposed to respond. Humble yourself before the Lord. Confess your failure. and he'll restore you. He'll redeem the situation. He'll do something good with it. We can't be flagrant about our failures, but there's only one place to go, and that's to Dad, and that's to confess it to him. And he gives us the mop, and he shows us how to clean up. That's what he doesn't want to destroy us in our failures. He wants to build us up in our failures. He wants to increase us in our failures. He wants us to learn from these failures. He wants us to understand his heart for us, that he's for us and not against us. That is so important for us to remember. He's for us and not against us. You guys be blessed today. Just check that relationship. Make sure it's strong and make sure it's good. And we'll talk to you more later. God bless.